Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Technoplast Limited 4Q and FY23 results call hosted by PhillipCapital India Private Limited. This call may contain forward-looking statements about the company which are based on belief, opinion and expectations of the company as on the date of this call. These statements are not guarantees of future performance and involve risks and uncertainties that are difficult to predict. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Vikram Suryavanshi from PhillipCapital India Private Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Yusuf. Good afternoon and very warm welcome to everyone. Thank you for being on the call of Technoplast Limited. We are happy to have the management with us here today for question and answer session with investment community. Management is represented by Mr. Bharat Vagheria, Managing Director, Mr. Raghupati Tyagarajan, Full-Time Director, Mr. Sandeep Modi, Senior Vice President, Accounts and Corporate Planning, Mr. Hemant Soni, Vice President, Legal and Corporate Affairs. Before we start with the question and answer session, we will have opening comments from the management. Now I hand over call to Mr. Bharat Vagheria, Managing Director, for their opening comments. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vikram, for introducing the management team. And welcome to all the participants to hear about the Q4 and earnings presentation for the financial year 2022-23. We are here essentially to talk about the Q4 and full year ended March 32 and outlook for the just next year. We generally don't give any guidance, but just ballpark we can say what is the growth expectation there considering the present product or segment or business where our company exists. So company has closed the financial year on a strong note with the revenue growth of 18%. I am also proud to announce that the company has achieved its highest ever turnover, EBITDA and the PAT in FY23. Means it is already surpassed the pre-COVID level period also. Good demand for the industrial packaging products, overwhelming response for our composite products are the major factor behind this strong performance within a short span of time. Our Type 4 composite cylinder for CNG casket have established a good market position which is visible in the strong order book position of 260 crores approximately. Strong demand for the industrial packaging products from chemical industry driven by migration of chemical companies out of China and increase in the chemical export coupled with the good demand for CNG caskets. We expect to continue our growth trajectory. I am also pleased to inform that one of our promoter companies has fully repaid the term loan outstanding to his lender where the shares of the Technoplast were placed as a collateral security. These placed shares are now released and subsequent 100% of the promoters' equities holding of the Technoplast are now free from the place. And it is available that promoters are holding around the 51.4% equity of the company. Now the key numbers are during the Q4 FY23, I will provide you the previous year same quarter figure also. The net sales for this Q4 FY23 1193 crores as against 1030 crores, EBITDA 170 crores as against 140 crores, PAT 64 crores as against 56, cash profit 111 as against 97. In terms of the percentage, I can say the net sales increased by 15%, which includes, I'm glad to tell you, India 10%, overseas 26%. And the volume increased by 12%, India 8%, overseas 22%. EBITDA increased by 21%, PAT increased by 15%. The EBITDA and PAT margin stood at around 14.2% and 5.3% as against 13.5% and 5.3% respectively. During the year ended 31st March 2023, corresponding previous year number also I will provide you in a consolidation. Net sales crossed 4,000 crores, and we achieved 4,293 crores, as against 3,653 crores of the previous year. EBITDA stood 581 crores as against 509 crores. PAT 219 crores as against 188. And cash profit of 395 as against 350. Compared with the previous year, net sales increased by 18%, India 13%, overseas 28%. Volume increased by 13%, India 10%, overseas 22%. EBITDA increased by 14%, PAT increased by 17%. Now this improvement in the EBITDA margins and the net margins and the revenue, you will see that shares of the established product and value-added product has increased by 29% in FY23 as compared to FY22, while the established product grew 15%. The share of the value-added product is 23% of the total sales in FY23 as 21% in FY23. And one thing when I am talking about value-added products, this is going to be continued. Sale of the value-added product is going to be increased because base is low and high growth areas where we exist. Share of this India and overseas business is 66% India business, 34% overseas business, which earlier was 68 and 32. Because we have seen that overseas business has grown more than 26% in the previous year, therefore the percentage has been little change. In spite of increase in the business and growth of the 17%, company able to maintain the debt level below the previous year, even it is reduced by 15 crores. And after considering the expansion undertaken, which has a large potential for that. The company during the year has enhanced the annual CNG cascade manufacturing capacity by 300 cascade, 18,000 number of the cylinder under phase 1, which is already completed and is now available for the production. With this expansion, the total annual cascade manufacturing capacity increased to 480 cascade. In terms of the cylinder, roughly we can say 29,000 cylinders. Due to overwhelming response and the good order book and existing enhanced capacity sold out completely, looking to the orders in hand, company has undertaken phase 2 expansion plan for increasing the manufacturing capacity of the cylinders and cascades by 600 numbers per annum. So further, under the phase 2 expansion, the company has utilized the facility to manufacture both the CNG and green hydrogen. I think everybody is now talking about the green hydrogen, which we are also working on this in the project phase 2. Now, one of the subsidiary companies has also performed very good. That is called TPL Plastics, 75% subsidiary of Technoplast Limited, who are in the packaging product business, has completed its greenfield unit in Dahej, Gujarat, for manufacturing the intermediate bulk containers IBC, along with the other industrial packaging products, drum and jerrycans, with the capacity outflow of around 25 crores. I am also pleased to inform you that board of the directors have recommended a dividend of 125%, 1.25 rupees per equity shares, as against the previous year 100%, 1 rupees dividend for 1 rupee shares, subject to approval of the shareholders. Company has received the PESA approvals, Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization, for manufacturing of the carbon fiber reinforced composite cylinder type 3 for medical oxygen breathing air, that is called oxygen cylinder. The cylinders are used by firefighters, mountain climbers, portable homes, oxygen bottles, and mobile ambulance in the hospitals, defense sectors, and for underwater activities, which has a large potential in this sector. Now, as far as I also would like to update about the consolidation cum restructuring of the overseas businesses, which is under ongoing. In fact, we had in the last call also mentioned that the process is on. Initially, we were talking based on the 2021 financial, but as we have already closed 2022, so our advisors are in touch with the potential buyer, and we have last conference call said something will come out definitely by September of this first half of this current financial year. So Yes, there is no any change in the object of this consideration, which is going to receive from the consolidation from restructuring of the overseas businesses by divesting of the majority stake. That was the three areas was identified: repayment of the debt, capex for the composite cylinder, and core business in India to meet the huge market demand, and will also be used to benefit to the shareholders. So objectives are the same. There is no any change. Yes, only one thing, capex for cylinder is already finalized, process is on. We are not waiting for these businesses, this investment of this business, because we would like to capture the huge market demand in the CNG and hydrogen businesses. So now I would like to open the floor to answer the specific questions reference to the FY 2022-23 and the quarter which have been announced results.
Thank you.
Thank you to all.
We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handset while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. First question is from the line of Rahil Shah from Crown Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. In the last Concall, if I'm not wrong, you mentioned your ROC target for by FY25-26, 19% or over. Are we still on the same guidance? And if you can also give your outlook on the ROC target for this year, FY24. That's my first question.
ROC, yes. Okay. I have, based on these financials of 2023, because every year we revise based on the audited financials. So still we are on the target only, because as far as 22-23 we achieved ROC of 13.5%. There is an improvement of 1.3% in the current financial year. As far as ROC target is still there to achieve over 19% in 2024-25. If you ask me next 3 years, it will be over 20%. That by 2025-26. If you ask especially this year, definitely the ROC will be over 16%, improvement of 2.5%, being the investment which is done in the CNG will give the revenue in the current financial year. And overall some improvement in the margin will also be seen. And as last time also I said, ROC improvement is possible by way of an increase in the margin, increase in the working capital, reducing in the working capital cycle time, and the sale of the more of the value-added products. These are the three things. So we, as the management, is working and focusing on the same to improve the ROC. So we are not changing any of our target, which we have said in the next year's time over 20%.
Correct. Okay. And with regards to your, so you mentioned you're also looking improvement in top line and EBITDA margins, but if you could guide, if possible, in what range are you seeing the business growth and in which areas particularly?
Well, we don't give the guidance, but I just can give you the idea. You have seen in 22-23, we have achieved a growth of revenue term 17.5%. So I think I can say the management is also targeting to grow in the more than 2% figure. So we can say around 15% targeting. And the EBITDA margin, we have seen range. Last current EBITDA is in the range of 13.5%. We are targeting improvement by 20 to 30 basis points every year. And the range, I can say 13.5 to 15% range we are keeping for the 3 years timeline.
Okay. That's very promising. Thank you for now and all the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Keshav from Raksan Investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir, the cascade capacity expansion to 1080, what year do we expect it to be fully utilized?
I think this year we have a capacity of 480 numbers cascade. 600 expansion will come by end of this calendar year, so we will be able to utilize from next financial year. But I can just give you the guidance by around the 480 cascade, we can achieve the revenue of around 300 crores or somewhere. Utilization, normally we consider 90% of the capacity utilization because already the orders are in hand. But if you ask me that after the expansion, definitely we can do the business of around 800 crores from the cascade of 1080 numbers.
Sure, sir. And sir, the current CNG order book, we've maintained it on higher execution. But could this order book have been more if we weren't capacity constrained?
Not so, because you see that as the CNG cascade launch measure in the 2021-22, where we had did the business of first year was 55 crores. Last year we did 155 crores, and this year we are projecting around 300 crores. So, but this is the first time in India Type 4 cylinders, but as the people are utilizing and getting the benefit of recurring benefit in cost saving, now the new demands are coming up. But we are sure the present capacity which we have already order book in hand. So definitely this whenever we take the orders and from the supplier, they give us the execution time for the 6 to 8 months. Then based on that, we also plan accordingly. Now, in response to the specifically CNG, I request my colleague director, Mr. Raghupati, will give you the more details about this.
Yeah, particularly answering to your question, Keshav, with regard to whether the constraint in capacity is actually causing some loss of business, etc. Whatever capacity that we have had, we've been focusing on the cascade business, that is basically large-scale mobile transportation of gas, etc. There's a good potential for the CNG cylinders which will ultimately unfold as we have the expansions of capacity that is particularly limiting to automotive usage. So that's an area which we will open up as soon as we have the additional expansion that's coming up, because that's the one where we will start then working with OEMs and also the retrofitment market. So that's an area which we have not tapped yet.
Sure, sir. And sir, lastly, so the 16, 19 and 20 plus ROC target, sequentially, is it contingent on the de-investment following through, or even our current base business can reach that level without this?
So can you repeat your question actually?
Yeah, so we are targeting 16%, 19% and 20% plus ROCs sequentially. Yeah. So is that contingent on the overseas disinvestment that we are planning?
No. It's an ongoing business basis. I'm not considered and factored that thing. I'm not.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
To give the further improvement, that can be later on when it goes through, then we will let you know. That then the 20% achievement can be earlier also possible.
Sure, sir. Thank you and all the best, sir. Thanks.
Thank you. Before we move to the next question, a reminder to the participant, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. Next question is from the line of Nilesh Shah from Arrow Investments. Please go ahead.
Hello, Bharat Bhai. Hello, team at Time. Congratulations for a great set of numbers.
Thank you.
Just one query, one question. We have already enhanced our capacity to 18,000 cylinders, 300 cascades. So with the new capacity that is 1,080 cascades, if you can just guide on what is the total capex that will be incurred in the year, because you said it will be live by the end of the year, so within the next 6 months or 9 months, the total capex only towards this expansion, if you can just say, are we going to increase our debt levels?
No. I'm just asking you last question, answer first. There is not going to be increase any debt level. It will be from the internal resources only, and all the repayments will be continued. And as you are asking me, especially I have given in NSE and BSE informed that my expansion cost for the CNG for year 600 cascade is working out around 125 crores, and out of that part have already been incurred. So if you ask me the total expenses of 1,000 liters, that we've been span of, because already some was incurred in 2021-22, then again we have incurred in 22-23. So all my composite investment will be in the range of around 200 crores, which is already for CNG cascade and cylinder manufacturing capacity. Okay. So you asked me another capex. So capex will be overall capex also. We are putting ourselves in the range of around 200 crores. That is not going to increase that, including this expansion for the CNG. And the company is expecting the growth of over 15%.
Perfect, sir. Thank you so much and wish you all the very best. Great set of numbers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Parag Khare from Investor. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Congratulations for the decent set of numbers. Our first 2 quarters were a little difficult because of raw material inflation. But I think the overall year is closed on the highest note, so well done. Thumbs up to you and your team. Sir, quick question on the divestment which we are doing for our overseas subsidiaries. Any progress, any update you want to share on that?
In fact, in the last conference call, we had shared that the process is on because, as in my starting comments also I mentioned, initially we were talking for disinvestment based on the 2021 calendar year basis. Now we are talking about because we have found the substantial improvement in 2022. You heard my communication or conversation that we have achieved the growth of 24% in my overseas businesses. So we are trying our best to get the better valuation. So we are now renegotiating and talking to my advisors are talking to get the valuation based on the 2022. Another addition, what we are doing, earlier we were talking to the prospective buyer about the overseas business as a whole. But now you know that we have our overseas business in 3 continentals. Like MENA region, we have a presence in, I can say, Middle East, Dubai. We have a presence in Bahrain. Then we have in Saudi and Egypt. And another MENA region we have in Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam and Taiwan. Then our last presence again in USA. So we are divided now 3 continents and we are trying to enhance the value of our consideration based on the 3 continents separately and talking to the separate parties who are strong in each of the region separately.
Okay.
Right?
So is it fair to say, sir, that even after announcing this transaction or this divestment, it will be subject to regulatory approvals from the respective countries, and then the proceeds of that divestment will happen probably, later in the year or sometime early next year, because we are already halfway in this year. So the proceeds will be immediate or it will take time?
No. Parag, I tell you what happened. That was not difficult in overseas businesses because in each of the countries we are not required to take on the approvals, one thing. Because we are holding these businesses through our holding companies. So this business from the ownership, which is workable as in India normally people used to use. Not much regulatory approval already is in place.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So only this is the question of our in principle or in agreement and closure of the deal, which we are estimating by, as we have mentioned in the last call also, in the first half of the current financial year should happen. Maybe we are focusing on that.
Okay. And sir, where do you see our traditional business, the packaging business, going forward? I mean, I know it's a proxy to the manufacturing and chemical businesses. As manufacturing and chemical growth, packaging also follows the suit. What's your growth estimation for the traditional business for the packaging for this FY24?
Traditional business, as we have also seen, as you also must be watching the data of the polymer industry, which is growing in the range of 10 to 12%. And the chemical industry is also going in the same range. So as far as packaging business is concerned, we are estimating growth in the range of around 12%.
Both India and overseas?
Yes. Overseas maybe little higher.
Okay.
The China plus advantage are little in the nearby countries.
Mm-hmm. But sir, considering this, especially the growing nature of the businesses, manufacturing and chemical companies, especially in Asia, do you think it makes sense for us to continue with those businesses instead of divesting and then divest maybe the US business and the Middle East business?
No,
I thought on the table.
No, it's right. You are right from your point of view. At the same time, it's a growing business is there. but there are so many other things, opportunity available in India. We are thinking for a better means make in India products where green hydrogen, especially we are working out, where the whose market in India will be there. Okay, so we are not divesting the 100% business overseas. We will continue with our minimum marginal holding with existing prospective
minority stake.
Yes, we will continue. And we will go together because we cannot be specialized for each of the areas and each of the countries. Therefore, we thought we should have a focus because every overseas companies are coming to India and making the investment. So we thought why we ourselves should not do. That is the objective.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And sir, do you think the growing demand, considering the growing demand for the cascades or for LP, I mean, especially CNG cascades, because Tata Motors said one of the three cars would be sold, either it would be electric or CNG. By when do you think we would be able to have the ample capacity to meet the growing demand by FY24 or by FY25? When do you see that supply matches the demand?
In fact, this industry is very big as far as CNG industries and composite product uses are concerned. We have a data available. Total market size is 22,000 crores for the CNG composite product use for the entire product. Now that product will be now divided type 1, type 2 and type 3 and type 4. Type 1 is how old these metal parts. And type 4 is the latest technology. We are estimating a business of around 2,000 crore in the next 5 years' time for this composite product itself, where we are considering 30 to 40% business conversion from the metal to the composite products. So if you ask me today business, which is we are estimating 300 crores, but you ask me 5 years down, this business can be more than 2,500 crores business. And the better users, because as the people become familiar, as they are recurring costs, their visibility is there, they are making and they are demanding type 4 cylinders only. As my colleague Raghupati has told you, automotive sector we have not yet pick up. That will come from next year after our expansion capacity. And you know that CNG, which is available, but the distribution channel was so very big. Now government has taken itself initiative after 15 years based on 2022, based on the 2020 policy. You know that how many filling stations coming? 8,000 new filling stations are coming every day. You must be seeing on the road new gas stations are coming because they want this infrastructure should be increased. And as far as these EV vehicles are concerned, everybody is talking 2030, 2040. By that time only the infrastructure will be made available because today there is a challenging for the quality availability of the quality batteries. Mm-hmm. So at least I can say 10-15 years there is no any fear about that CNG cascade business and use in the automotive sectors.
Okay. And one last question, sir. I was going through the government data. I think around 100 new CNG stations were added in probably last 6 to 9 months across the country. I was just wondering our capacity is full, we have supply side constraints. I was just wondering who else is there in the market who is supplying the cascades to these various gas stations. I know for LPG we have a competitor with Supreme Industries for LPG cascade, but CNG cascade I think we have fairly good monopoly, we have fairly good market share. Just wondering from where these guys are getting CNG cascades. Are they importing from outside India?
Yeah, this is an established business overseas, and there are people who are, importing these cylinders from Europe and other countries, and they are getting it assembled here. So that is the immediate competition that we are facing right now. But then obviously getting an empty cylinder imported and paying the duties also has its own challenges. But yes, we are the first and the only company to make these type 4 cylinders in India and contributing towards the Make in India policy as well.
So any thoughts on the table or any discussion at the senior management level, maybe when the funds are available, maybe try to acquire one or two these foreign companies or maybe try to see if we can expand the business through inorganic ways. Any thoughts on the table?
I tell you, manufacturing, make in India, and we have to be manufacturing in India only because there is expansion need to be done, which in any case we are doing it. And another challenge for the cylinder, not only the capacity, we have to make and tie up and contract for the carbon fiber, which is also the challenging as an input. Quality carbon fiber available suppliers are very few, and we have already tied up our contract for a requirement at least for next 3 years' time.
Okay. All right, sir. Great set of numbers. Congratulations and all the best for calendar year.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to ask a question, you may press star and 1. Next question is from the line of Pranav Goyal from Investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. First of all, congratulations on a very good set of numbers.
Thank you.
I'm an individual investor, and one of the things that I worry more about is the stock price of the company, right? Now, when I see the stock price, let's say small cap is doing really, really well, but in spite of so many good news in Time Technoplast, shareholders are not having a lot of confidence. So I don't understand what is the reason why shareholders is not having a lot of confidence in spite of so many good news. That is one. Second question is on the restructuring. We were talking about end of this year, let's say end of financial year 2023, and now we are talking about end of H1 2024, which means a delay of 6 months. Have you already received some kind of indication of what your business or let's say overseas business is being valued at? Because I'm sure your advisors must have had a lot of discussion with strategic partners and investors. So what kind of bids or let's say what kind of valuation have you received when you discuss with these strategic partners? And is it because you're not happy with these decisions that you have decided to wait for some more time, use the 2022 financials, and then rediscuss all these things? So what is happening over there?
I agree, Pranav. But in fact, when we were talking last year, we were in the month of, by time when we were talking, the September was there. Then we thought already 9 months is over of the calendar year. So it's better to wait for the next 3 months, and we should talk for 2022 data only based on that. Now, as far as till now is concerned, no figure is finalized, nothing, because you know that 10 countries involvement, due diligence process also it takes their own time. And so nothing as far as you have asked us the figure, but certainly I can say we should get good value considering the growth of 24% achieved in the calendar year 2022. And further good prospects are there. So we will come and we will give the exact what is happening. Because initially we had received the expression of interest, I can say the non-binding people, 15, 16 people signed, and some have stopped, some have started due diligence. But considering the due diligence process itself, and you know that there was too much disturbance was ongoing in some of the countries, nearby countries, like because of Ukraine and Russia war is affecting everywhere. Some of the people are not able to travel here and there. But finally, I can say, yes, we have asked you to that something will come out, and in the first half of the calendar year, considering the process involved. Initially, as I mentioned in my last call to Mr. Parag also, that initially we were talking for the entire business as a whole of the overseas business. Now we are talking it separately, our merchant banker, both EY and JP Morgan, to the 3 continents separately, so that and trying our best. And another thing you have heard, just previous person has told me, is there any compulsion to sell the business of this? We have said very clearly, not compulsion, but at the same time to have a business opportunity available in India, and we will, as a continuing our minority stake, will continue the overseas, and we also would like to take much of the bigger in value-added product in India. So therefore, I think we will have to wait for another 3 to 4 months time. Then we will be able to tell you the concrete decision about this consolidation of the overseas businesses.
Sir, 2 follow-up questions on this. One, now you're saying September. So let's say, and I hope that it happens, that your numbers are really good for 23 versus 22 for the overall business.
Yes.
Then certainly we don't want to hear as a shareholder that now that only 3 months are remaining, we are thinking to use the 2023 numbers to value our business even more, right? This is the fear that any shareholder will have in their mind.
I agree.
Second,
never ending.
you know very well.
There is a never-ending process. I know that when the 13% EBITDA company is growing more than 15%, definitely whenever you will go, the valuation will be upside. But again, it's a good opportunity. If any strategic or financial partner take the part in that, no, we will not come for then and again, and we will not wait. If it is going to happen, and this year it is going to happen, otherwise we will continue with our existing this thing.
Okay, and second follow-up thing on this is that some of the countries like Germany has already gone into recession on papers. There is a big fear that let's say US or other countries might follow the similar way. So do you think, or are we really being too aggressive in our approach that we will receive a good valuation, or it can actually come completely opposite on us, that because now there is recession, a lot of companies are not putting money into new structuring. They are not ready to give the valuation that is supposed to be there. So this is a second relevant concern. So do you really think it is really wise to wait that long and get what we are looking for?
Good part of our overseas business is that we are not present in Europe, and I agree with you that that's probably one of the areas which have been badly hit. So we in the area that we are present, whether it is in Asia, whether it is in the Middle East, whether it is in the US, the markets are holding strong. I must say that. You must have also corroborated. And simultaneously, when there are investors who have multinational interests, they will also be watching the fact that, in Europe, they must have lost some ground. To make up, they are aggressively looking at investments in some of those emerging and growing areas. And by far, some of these areas that we have present is definitely identified as a very strong area of growth. So I am actually expecting these tables to turn the other way and not really go down.
Okay. One final question on this. Do you have a target in your mind about the proceeds that you are going to receive? Because I'm sure you will have a target that, okay, we need to at least get this much in order to make sure this is valued at a right number.
We have got two big advisors to the subject, and they will guide us on this. They are constantly evaluating the different offers that are coming by. Based upon that, we will take an appropriate decision.
And do you have a bifurcation in your mind on how much you're going to actually use, like in percentage terms, on repayment of debt, on capex, or on shareholders?
Yes, of course, there are multiple options that have been worked out. We are not at liberty to share it at the moment, but surely there will be good news coming.
Okay. So just one last thing. If you can please update on this from time to time, because as an individual investors, you really get worried that nothing is being mentioned apart from obviously the quarterly calls. If you can please make sure, let's say every 2 months or every 1.5 months, you can actually circulate some update on this. That would be really helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Mehul Savla from RW Equities. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations to the management and the team for the fantastic set of numbers. Sir, my question is actually relating to the subsidiary TPL Plastic, where again the performance has been good, and there was a statement in the press release that the new Dahej facility has also got commissioned in April. So just wanted to know, how much is the capacity expansion based on this new facility? What was the existing capacity, and what has been the new capacity addition?
Ma'am, this TPL has put up the plant for the packaging product, which include IBC, which TPL was not earlier there. It was the company Time Technoplast is already manufacturing the IBC and supplying in all the 4 regions of the India, East, West, North, South, and overseas also manufacturing. These tried and tested products. But TPL has some surrounding customers available, and TPL also should add the product line for their expansion growth of their company plan. So this product will have a manufacturing capacity. I can say that they can manufacture IBC around, I can say 120,000 IBC they can manufacture at the Dahej plant. In addition to that, they will have a capacity for manufacturing of the large size containers also. in terms of the value, I can say the potential, the unit which is coming out at 90% capacity, that unit should give the revenue of around the 75 crores.
Okay. Okay.
So
And sir, what is the existing capacity utilization of the
TPL, you know, the TPL has a presence in the 5 locations. They have a presence in Silvassa, they have a presence in Vizag, they have a presence in Bhuj, and then Ratlam. So, and this is the Dahej they are putting up.
Yeah.
So, capacity utilization currently, I can say, as you have seen the business which they did around 270 crores FY23, but they are also expecting the similar around more than, looking to the expansion program, they will have a growth of 30% this year.
Okay. Great, sir. Thank you very much, sir. That was the only.
They have declared the dividend also 30% 60 paisa because share was split from 10 to 2 rupees in the last year.
Yes, sir.
They've increased the dividend percentage also.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it is great. I think both companies are doing really well. And I think it's a matter of time before markets start recognizing and valuing it. So all the best to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you for the question. Yeah.
Thank you. Before we move to the next question, a reminder to the participant, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. Next question is from the line of A.N. Boda from Sanmati Consultancy Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Vadaria.
Yeah, thank you.
Sir, congratulations for the good set of numbers, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, company has made a cash profit of 400 crore rupees this year. Depreciation, net plus depreciation, approximately 400 crore. But sir, your inventories and debtors, they never come down. They are all go on increasing. Today they are already 940 crore, then inventory is 995 crore. Then another day it will be 1200 crore rupees. Why company is not taking effective step to reduce the debtors and the inventory?
I think you have rightly pointed out. You see that corona effect is now going back now. During the corona period, the working capital cycle time was increased 120 days above, which is now reduced to 110 days. And company internally in the 2 years further down the line, keeping target of 100 days. So you have seen the business growth of 17% is already there as far as current this financial year is concerned. So again in the next 2 years time, we will have a reduction. Therefore, we are keeping target of increasing the ROC from 14% to 19% in the next 3 years time. And that is possible by increasing the margin, reducing the working capital cycle days. Right? So improvement.
Yes, sir. Go on, sir.
Yeah. So as I have mentioned, I tell you, company has done the expansion, good potential for the business in the period ahead. And I tell you, on the same depth level, company will be able to achieve and surpass the business with the 15 to 20% growth. Means we can do the current investment, we can do the business of 5,000 crores.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
We are working on that. Otherwise, ROC will not be improved. I know that last year, because of the certain important items are there, and inventory, we are targeting ourselves to come back. Inventory has reduced. Inventory has reduced from 112 to 70 days, 83 days. So now what happened, we have a certain components, I tell you how it is improved. Because currently our products which we manufacture, certain we need to do the imports item, okay, which is not available in India. But as many companies, now local producer, ONGC, Opal, HEML, they are coming out with the local production of the raw material which we need. Because currently we are importing almost our 60% product inputs we are importing, which is not locally available. So when that will be made available in India, which certain local manufacturers are promising us to have a manufacturing here in India next 2-3 years time, then definitely our inventory level will go down. And another thing, if I have to give the debtors is increased, so at the same way we are working out, the creditor level also should be increased. When I am getting more credit, I will give the credit. So that's why balancing out net working capital days, we are focusing on the improvement.
Sir, the second question is regarding restructuring. The restructuring is going on since last 2 years. First resolution was stock exchange was implemented in 2021. Now it is 2023. It's almost 2 years over sir, restructuring. How much time? Actually, there should be a timeline because we say that it is based on the 21 balance sheet, then 22 balance sheet, then we will say that it is 23 balance sheet. So this is no end of this. Growth will come, but we have to take the decision at any point of time.
Decision will be there. I mentioned in the last call also. Now it is a 1 year old only because the last 22 April only the AGM shareholders was there, and it was in the last shareholders it is approved because a special extraordinary general meeting was called. It was approved on the 9th April 2022, which matter went there. So now we are not talking, it's not 2 years old, it's a 1 year old. We are in May now, 12 months old only. And what we are asking in the next 4 months time, result will come out.
No, initially the stock exchange were intimated in 2021, sir.
No, it was appointed, it was people that...
Board decided to restructuring, for the restructuring of the business in 2021 May or something.
Yeah, but process started based on the 2021. After the 2020 calendar year end, only the process. Nobody will start the process till you close the year and provide them a provisional figures like that. Nobody will start that. The major activity. You know that 2021 was the COVID two wave was there. Finally, activity started from January 2022 only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take time.
10 countries involvement is there. You know the 10 countries involvement is there, different regions. So it takes time. It's not a one country or one business.
Even for carrying the due diligence, traveling across different countries, there was a lot of limitation during the COVID.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Our best wishes to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Naitik Mohta from Sequent Invest. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity, sir. Just a couple of questions from my side regarding the overseas business. So, sir, we were planning to sell the entire overseas business together, and now we are planning to sell it in parts depending on the geographical locations. So, sir, if you could guide any split between the three locations, that what kind of revenue do we make? Like, I understand 33% of revenues comes from the overseas business or not consolidated level. So, what percentage of those levels comes from America, Middle East, and South Asia separately?
You know that entire overseas revenue, just a second, overseas revenue, we have Asian countries, we do around 50%, Middle East we do around 35%, and US part we do around 15%.
Sir, your voice was not clear. US was?
Again, I will repeat. Overseas revenue in Asian countries, where we do around 50%.
Okay.
Middle East, sorry, I'm just asking 23 figure. Is a 50%, these Asian countries plus Taiwan 50%, 34% Middle East, and US is 16%.
Okay, sir, and it would be fair to assume that all these locations are EBITDA positive?
Of course, I am glad to tell you, not a single company having all companies are profit making and have a EBITDA positive. Even PAT is positive.
Okay, that's great to hear, sir. And sir, regarding the debt levels of the company, so the consolidated debt of the company is around 890 crores. So, out of that, is there some debt that can be associated to these overseas entities?
So, can you repeat your question?
So my question is, out of the consolidated debt of 890 crores, can some part of debt be associated with these overseas entities that we are planning to sell?
No, what happened, we have some debts in the Indian companies also because we have onward lent to overseas company because we have not taken the borrowing each of the holding companies. So if you ask me the overseas holding company part, around the 25 to 30% is into the overseas businesses.
Okay.
I recall my conference call previously. We have asked many times, once we disinvest overseas businesses, even though majority stake, say maybe just 75 to 80%, we would like to have a debt-free company.
Right. Also, so for as you are planning that by H1 you'll sell off these overseas businesses. So X of these businesses, can you give a guidance for Time Technoplast for FY24?
24, you mean to say presently guidelines, which I have said you that over 15% growth we are estimating, and I have mentioned that 23 we achieved business in the range of around 4,300 crores revenue with the EBITDA of 13.5%. Okay. So as I mentioned, that without means I'm not considering present business as ongoing and continue with me only. Then definitely we'll have a more than 15% growth, and EBITDA level also will reach to the 14% as far as current financial is concerned, based on the present projections.
Okay, so that's really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This from the line of Ganesh, individual investors. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Ganesh, thank you.
Okay. Sir, looking at our last 2-3 years LPG revenue, LPG cylinder revenue, it's around 180 crores. And we have not TEDx in the last 2 years or so. So, I mean, is there any reason for it? Do we not foresee any additional revenue for LPG, or we are prioritizing CNG cascades better now?
Oh, Ganesh, you have done right question, but I tell you, as we have made a substantial investment in LPG, where we have a capacity of 1 million sellable cylinder we can do of the different sizes. Capacity is 1. He is talking about the LPG.
1.4 million.
1.4 million is the capacity, installed capacity. Sellable we can manufacture 1 million around of the different sizes we do. But as you know that first gas distribution company, all distribution companies have given us the order for 2 years time, which is ongoing already. In fact, our existing capacity utilization in the range of around 85 to 90% is already there. We do exports also to various countries. But we are not talking about the expansion currently, because we are just watching the response from the other oil distribution companies, government gas distribution and private gas distribution companies. And further we will watch for the repeated orders, for the quantity and for the further period ahead. So based on the 1 or 2 year orders, we cannot plan for the expansion. Let us first to see the business level and the interest of the other, which is already discussion is on with the other gas distribution company. Because the first order which we have received for 2 years supply from IOCL, which is ongoing, and they are getting the good response, and their response, other oil distribution companies also now started talking to us. So when that we will participate and get that business, then we can talk about the expansion. But certainly not this year, because this year we have tied up and we have a plan for the CNG expansion, which is already good order book is in hand, looking to the whose demand of the CNG cylinders and further development of the green hydrogens. So I think we can see next year, as the demand will come, we do the expansion.
Great. Thank you, sir. Just a couple of more questions. Post divestment, how do we see our legacy value-add revenue split? So today, as a whole company, it's around 68% legacy and 32% value-add. So post divestment, do you have any rough percentages in mind?
Oh, you mean to say after the disinvestment, the overseas business you are asking me?
Correct.
I am just asking another two. I will answer your 2 questions. On consolidated day, today our value-added product sale is 23%, which I am projecting it will go up to 25% in this current year. But you ask me 3 years down the line, definitely we will have a 30% value-added product and 70% this other product sale. If you ask me the 5 years down the line, then we will have a 35% value-added sale and 65% other product sale. And value-added products, you know very well, it includes IBC, MOX film, and CNG cascade. These are involved in the value-added products. Composite products come under the value-added products. LPG, CNG, all of this.
So though we are the only producers of CNG cascades in India, our EBITDA is still around 14%, 15% for CNG cascades. Is there a way we can raise EBITDA there, or is that the proper pricing premium that's possible in the market?
No, definitely some margins improvement will be there. We have seen that current year EBITDA level is 13.5, and I've asked, I have replied in the previous some query was there. My range EBITDA is 13.5 to 15%. So when, if you ask me, when my value added will be 35% and the other product will be 65%, then definitely the EBITDA margin will surpass the 15%, and it will be in the range of 15.5 to 16%. Because then the volume of the work will increase and the base expenditure will be low.
Just one last question, sir. What is the interest cost on our debt today?
Oh, it's around after the increase. I have that working also, because you know that current year 47%, 38% rate increase by all the banks. But being they have increased the rate quarter on quarter differently. So average they have rated rate increase is 1.5%, but my rate of the interest combined overseas and here put together is around 9.25%.
Great. Thanks a lot for the opportunity, sir. It's so difficult running a company that is on MNC, and kudos to you for running it for nearly 40 years.
I could not hear your question. What do you mean to say?
It was not a question, sir. I was thanking you for the opportunity, and it is just saying that it is very difficult to run a company in India that to an MNC. Thank you.
Thank you for appreciating the challenge. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to ensure that management is able to answer all the questions from the participants, please limit your questions to 2 per participants. Next question is from the line of Manish Umar from Manish Investments. Please go ahead.
नमस्ते सर, मैं मनीष बोल रहा हूँ गाजियाबाद से, और आपको अभी तक के सबसे अच्छे नंबर्स देने के लिए और अपना प्लेज शेयर छुड़वाने के लिए मेरी ओर से बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं.
Thank you. I think this pledge was there for last 15 years. Yeah.
जी सर.
Also, as you are happy, we are also glad to tell you, as the promoters also, as we are saving our cost because that doesn't repeat.
जी सर, मेरा ना एक क्वेश्चन था ये कि अभी आपने बाईबैक किया था, क्या आपका प्लानिंग है अभी और भी आगे बाईबैक करने का?
देखो, बाईबैक नहीं बोलते हैं इसको, बाईबैक आई कांट कमेंट. बाईबैक आपका पॉइंट सही है. मेरे को याद है आज के 3 साल पहले हमारे एमडी साहब ने कहा था कि जब हमारा सेल कंसिडरेशन आएगा, शेयर प्लेज होंगे, कुछ सरप्लस फंड रहेगा तो हम भी शेयर बाय करेंगे. बाईबैक नहीं है, ये प्रोमोटर्स बाय करेंगे. दिस आर 2 थिंग्स. एक तो होता है कि कंपनी खुद बायबैक करे और एक होता है कि promoters buyback करे. Promoters, you know that we are holding 51.4%. So definitely, as somebody mentioned in the last, I think somebody has mentioned that company is under book value, undervalued. Yes, promoter will also think on that, and definitely the right time to take the entry by the promoters because they have a surplus funds available because of this process the gold and the place shares have been paid. So that's decided by the promoters together. But I think if come out, we will update immediately to our valued investor.
Okay.
And again, I repeat that we have mentioned in our agenda consideration how will be utilized as far as I am talking to the company. Time Technoplast consideration will come. That will be used for the repayment of the debt, investment in expansion in the valued products, and number 3, benefit to the investors and the shareholders who will be there at that time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Manish.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, due to time constraint, this was the last question. I now hand the conference over to the management for the closing comments.
Oh, thank you very much. But I again would like the person who left and have some any query. We have provided our number to the investor relationship manager. They can give the mails, they can have a call to him, and they can get their satisfaction, whatever clarification they need be. Once again, I am thankful to Vikram and his team and the Prince Capital who has provided this platform to give our phone call on the presentation and earning of the company. Thank you. See you again, and all the best for the future ahead for the companies and you all the people to grow with the company. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Phillip Capital India Private Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.